Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Sylvaneth and in particular the Gnarlroot sub-faction. In this video we'll talk about exactly what a Gnarlroot sub-faction army gets that's special about it. We'll then look at some units we can begin our Sylvaneth army with in this sub-faction and look to expand upon this with some other units later as well. Finally, we'll finish off the video with a little sample army list for you to use as some inspiration to create your own Gnarlroot army list, and we'll have a 1000-point army list that you can use to do so. So with that said, let's get talking about Gnarlroot. So Gnarlroot is one of the Sylvaneth sub-factions. They've got them in the traditional sense. It doesn't unlock any specific type of unit as battle line, rather it gets this really interesting ability. So once per turn, when making a casting or unbinding roll for a friendly Gnarlroot wizard that is wholly within 9 inch of an overgrown terrain feature, or friendly awakened wildwood, you can roll 3d6 instead of 2d6 when making said roll. If you do so, you remove one of the dice of your choice from the roll, and the remaining 2 dice will become your casting roll. So pretty cool. Once per turn, one of your wizards is going to get a 3d6 cast. There's already some great other ways to buff casting in a Sylvaneth army, which is really cool. So this is a particularly fun sub-faction, I think. There's a lot of play, and there are some really good wizards inside of Sylvaneth. So with that all said, let's take a look at how we can expand upon and start out this Gnarlroot army. And so to begin our army, we have the Warsong Revenant. Now, he's a 7 wound for 5 up save Sylvaneth hero. He is a 2 cast and unbind wizard, which is pretty awesome. There's some really cool abilities like Alarial Song, where you add one to the bravery characteristic friendly Sylvaneth units wholly within 12 inch and subtract one from enemy units bravery wholly within 12 inch. He's got a built-in 4-up ward save, which is really nice, making him pretty survivable. And then he's got the Unleash Swarm Spite spell, which is a range of 9 inch, casting value of 7, and successfully cast, you roll a number of dice equal to the casting roll for each enemy unit within range of the caster, and for each 5+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So a pretty nice set of spells, a decent amount of combat potential as well. His Spearing Vines with 3 inch range, 5 attacks, 3 3s, Ren 1 damage 2, and another 3 attacks with his Falchion at 4s and 4s, Ren 1 damage 1 as well. For a wizard, he will put out a decent amount of hurt. Now to go alongside this model, as we said, there are no specific extra battle line units inside this sub-faction, so I think Dryads are the go-to. For me, they're just a little bit more survivable than 5 Tree Revenants at a similar points cost. The subtract 1 from hit and wound rolls for attacks that target them while they're wholly within 9 inch of overgrown terrain features or friendly awakened wildwoods, I think is really big in making them such a survivable unit. So definitely Dryads for me are the way to go when starting out this army. And so we have some other units to expand upon. First of all, the Branch Witch. She's a cheap Sylvaneth wizard. Sylvaneth wizards generally aren't that cheap. I think she is the cheapest at 130, and your next cheapest is your Thari and his Guardians, which is 180 points for that little unit there from Warhammer Underworlds. Now, she does have some decent close combat attacks for a wizard. Once again, 3 attacks, 3 3s, Ren 1 damage 1. She also gets add 1 to hit and wound rolls while she's near forest and overgrown terrain features. A 1 cast and unbind wizard, and got the bit of grub there for a couple of extra attacks coming out her little friend. The Unleash Spite spell is pretty cool. You have a casting value of 5 and a range of 9. You roll a number of dice equal to the casting roll for each enemy unit within range, and on a 5+, they take a mortal wound. So another cool area effect spell. Now, alongside this, we are talking wizards, so I think it's only right to mention endless spells. We have a video up talking about endless spells very shortly, but I think a video entirely, an army that's going to have these endless spells in it is really fun. I think Umbral Spell Portal is a really interesting spell to take that you can extend the range and use that to sort of push out your Sylvaneth wizard spells, which generally sort of are explosions around them of magic pulses around them, if you will, and this allows you to put them out deeper into your enemy lines, while things like the Purple Sun are just super powerful, and even some good healing spells in there as well. Alongside of that, we have the Sylvaneth Endless Spells. A lot of these don't harm you in any way and can't, even if they go wild, which I think is a really nice benefit to them. The Glade Worm and its ability to be either healing or offensive is nice, and the Gnarlroot just being a good offensive endless spell. That also makes extra enemy models flee around it, but can't ever harm Sylvaneth is pretty nice. And there's a really cool buff that can come out of the Spite Swarm Hive as well. So they're all really useful endless spells to have for your Sylvaneth army. Now, it is worth remembering at this point you can only have one endless spell per wizard in your army, so you probably don't need to pick up both these boxes at the start. So have a look at the war scrolls and see which one you prefer. Looking into other wizards though, we have the Tree Lord Ancient. This is another one of the big wizards. Like I said, Sylvaneth wizards don't come in cheap. He has 360 points at current. He does have some good combat potential out of him though. 5 sweeping blow attacks at 3s and 3s, Ren 1 damage 2, and 2 attacks hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s with Ren 2 damage 3 from his massive impaling talons. He's got his own cool monstrous rampage to make something strike last around him. He can summon an extra Sylvaneth Wildwood to the table, and also his spell makes Awakened Wildwoods do mortal wounds to units around them. So some good little combos even just on his own there. For me, he's a great wizard to pick up as something survivable later down the line, but maybe not in your initial points at 360. And so here we have our little sample army list for the Sylvaneth. Now, I've mentioned we're obviously going to be playing in the Gnarlroot subfaction. The seasonal war we've gone for is the Dwindling, where in your hero phase you can reroll 1 casting roll, 1 unbinding roll, or 1 dispelling roll, so long as the friendly wizard you pick is a Sylvaneth wizard that is whole within 9 inch of an overgrown terrain feature or Awakened Wildwood. That's a friendly one. Now, we've got Inspired as our triumph, and grand strategy, really, I think probably the way to go with this is probably going no place for the weak, though you can really pick a bunch of different options for this. I think there's some great ones for Sylvaneth in this. Warsong Revenant is going to be our general with the command trait Spellsinger. This is going to allow him to cast and essentially use an Awakened Wildwood on the table as a way to measure range from one of his spells, which is really great for his area effect spell. For his Deepwood spell, we've gone for Throne of Vines. This is going to allow him to heal a wound at the end of every phase until the end of your next hero phase. A nice cool healing one. I think it guarantees more heals over time than, say, the D6 heal you have available to you. Branch Witch is in there. She's got the Arcane Tome. This is going to allow her to double cast, which is going to be important for the fact we've got endless spells in here. So this means each wizard can cast out the endless spell and then something else, or cast something and then the endless spell, which is really cool. Now, Deepwood spell, she's got Verdurous Harmony, which allows you to return D3 models to a friendly Dryad unit or heal D3 wounds to a friendly Sylvaneth unit as well. Battle line wise, we've got 3 units of Dryads, 1 unit of 20, 2 units of 10, and they're all in the Expert Conquerors Battalion, which means they all count as 3 models on every objective. And the spell-wise, we've got the Umbral Spell Portal here. This is probably going to be on the Warsong Revenant. Then we've got the Purple Son of Shaiish, which is just amazingly good for an endless spell that's probably going to be able to be thrown out by the Branch Witch or the Rawsong, depending on how you want to go. As mentioned, we've got the Expert Conquerors Battalion there. All our Dryads fit in that. They're all Galatian Veterans, which is nice as well, so good for objectives. And then 975 points, there's a good chance we are going to get that +1 to wound there. 52 wounds is on the low end of average, and 5 drops is, pretty nice at this sort of new place. What do you think though? How do you plan on running a Gnarlroot Sylvaneth army, a magic heavy Sylvaneth army? Let us know down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members, or grabbing some channel merch off our merch store on Teespring, which is on our YouTube store as well. You can also come chat with me and other members of our little community here and our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description, along with the Patreon and YouTube members links. And as a special shout out to all those Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, James, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giapi390. And a special thank you to our YouTube members, Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Locke Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who comes on the channel and helps us create everything we do. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.